Dr. Dave here, A.K.A. the Garden Shrink. I'm an old psychologist with fresh insights into life, love, and gardening. Join me on a journey to increase both our fruit in the garden and in our professional lives. Whether you're just thinking about gardening as a hobby, or you're an old pro, or just someone interested in psychological advice minus the copay, I've got something for you. So come on, let's grow together. Hi friends, no gardening how-tos today. Instead, we're going to have some seasonal fun. In part one, Farmer Dave is going to make his case for how we know the Grinch had flawed character and was not a gardener, which in turn will help us identify some of the character traits and habits that are associated with success in life and in the garden. And in next week's part two, I'll share some strategies for developing these habits, which are strong predictors of success in life and love. And right after Christmas, I'll post a video about New Year's resolutions and habit change so you can stop biting your fingernails once and for all. So come on, let's grow together. Ho, ho, ho. Hi friends, last time we were together, I was advocating for changing the name of Black Friday to Green Friday. Not a lot of buy-in there, but it was supported by a few notables, guys by the name of Scrooge, Skellington, and the Grinch, who claimed Green Friday was entirely his idea. Was it? No. But speaking of the Grinch, that infamous guy was definitely not a gardener. How do I know? Stay tuned, Whoville. I'm gonna tell you. But before I do, let me ask you, do you know any famous gardeners? Well, here's a few to wet your whistle. George Washington and George Washington Carver, Thomas Jefferson, Monet, Gandhi, Darwin, Churchill, Thoreau, Emily Dickinson, Virginia Woolf, George Orwell, Muhammad Ali, and Oprah Winfrey, Martha Stewart, Michelle Obama, Jennifer Gardner, or is it Gardener? Mindy Kaling, Mark Ruffalo, Tom Brady, The Goat, Serena Williams, Sting, and Sheryl Crow. Now how's that for a list? Now Jesus wasn't a gardener, best I can tell, but he talked about it an awful bit, an awful lot. As for you psych majors out there, here's a few names that may ring a bell. Remember Pavlov and the dogs? Not a gardener. But Carl Jung, he of the concepts of introversion and extroversion. Sigmund Freud, he of stop psychoanalyzing me. And that other guy, Dr. Dave, he of garden shrink fame. All gardeners. What secrets did these big shots possess that the Grinch didn't? And how does gardening foster behavior and habits that translate into career, relationship, and life successes? Jump in the sleigh with me. Little Max is going to pull us down Mount Crumpet and right into Whoville to find out. Impressive list, Farmer Dave. Now, I'm not one to jump on the red carpet and do things because famous people do them, and you probably aren't either. But I am an advocate for studying commonalities and patterns in people who have excelled in life, those who have lived extraordinary lives. I'm going to talk about traits and habits associated with success in life and how gardening depends on and reinforces these traits and habits. I'm going to give special attention to traits referred to as conscientiousness and grit, and how you can begin to strengthen and develop them further in part two of this video. So be sure to like, subscribe, and even though Thanksgiving is over, come back for seconds next week. See you then. Thanks, Dr. Dave. Let's have a little funny ha-ha here. In just 30 TV minutes, the Grinch, a narcissistic grump bucket, was transformed from villain to chillin'. But how do we know he wasn't a gardener before this miraculous transformation? Number one, the Grinch may have had a green thumb, but he also had a green body. and that's a result of envy, begrudging those happy weirdos in Whoville. In contrast, gardeners have tan, healthy skin from spending time outside in the sun, getting extra vitamin D and fighting off seasonal affective disorder. Gardeners don't envy, they practice gratitude, and they wear sunscreen. Number 2, the Grinch had a heart that was 2 sizes too small. I don't know if it was genetic or if he had a Scrooge for a daddy, but everybody knows that gardeners have big hearts. They're always giving away zucchini or cucumbers and making new friends. I already told you that more socializing means longer living and less cognitive decline. But here's a secret. My gardening friends, not everybody wants your zucchini. I know. Number 3, we know the Grinch wasn't a gardener because his fingernails were sharp and long. They were bad. They were just all wrong. Okay, so I'm no Boris Karloff. To be constantly cleaning those fingernails after working in the dirt. Totally impractical. No, not a gardener. Number 4, the Grinch lived on top of Mount Crumpet. The growing season's way too short up there. How are you gonna grow watermelon and pumpkins with a short growing season? You can only grow radishes up there. Number 5, although the Grinch was as cuddly as a cactus and he had garlic in his soul, he was always scowling. He's cold-hearted, critical, doesn't like music and singing about fa-hoo, fa-la, and he's likely depressed. Gardeners are happy and optimistic like yours truly. They're spending time getting fresh air outside and their heart rate's up, sweating and working, growing and eating their veggies. All the things that doctors say are good for us. And if doctors say it, it must be true. Number 6, the Grinch was mean to his dog Max. Come on, gardeners love dogs and animals of all sorts. Well, except for deer and groundhogs. And come to think about it, squirrels and chipmunks. They sure do love us and our gardens, but it's not mutual. I tell you, but we do love dogs. And by all accounts, Max was loyal and faithful, and the Grinch didn't deserve that kind of friend. Number 7, lastly and most importantly, the Grinch lacked planning ability. He was impulsive. That idea to pillage Whoville was a poorly hatched plan that didn't work. He didn't anticipate Cindy Lou Who getting up in the middle of the night and having to invent a cockamamie story about stealing her tree just to fix a light bulb. And he didn't anticipate that the Whos would still be singing Christmas carols even after they were robbed blind and didn't have no roast beast for feasting. He didn't think it through. He just acted based on blind emotion. And that might get you sent to anger management class, friends. Gardeners plan. They have to work and wait and persevere to reap a harvest. Successful people plan. They keep at it and they overcome obstacles. There's no shortcuts. They don't go off willy-nilly following every fountain of youth pill advertised on TV. No. And patience is a virtue. And virtues get you further in the long run than white teeth do. Dr. Dave is going to talk about traits, habits, and yes, virtues that research says are associated with success. You need them to get a lot of butternut squash in the garden, and you need them to get that promotion at work. So come back for part 2 next week. But before you do, here's a few other seasonal folks that you will recognize, and you'll agree with me, they aren't gardeners either. Rudolph's Yukon Cornelius, he of silver and gold fame, he's a prospector and a reaper, not a sower. John McClane from the thriller Die Hard, not a gardener, not a Christmas movie. Yippee-ki-yay, Mo. How about Eddie from Christmas Vacation? Living in an RV, he'd have to use a community garden. and change those white shoes that Clark likes so much to work boots. Nada. How about Buddy from Elf? Funny guy. He can actually sing. Check out the Christmas musical Spirited with Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds. I give it 2 green thumbs up. But Buddy, too spastic. And anybody who puts syrup on spaghetti is banned from the garden in my book. And last but not least, Frosty the Snowman, A.K.A. Melty the Snowman. Him and greenhouses mixed like insects and neem oil. Okay, friends, likey below. Season's greetings, and I'll see you in part 2 next week. Season's greetings.